good afternoon. I am Lizzie Guy. I will let you present yourself.
I'm Gail Maurice. I'm the writer, director, and producer of ROSIE.
Moi, c'est Mélanie Bray et je suis la coproductrice de ROSIE et je joue aussi le rôle principal de Frédéric ou Fred.
Maybe we can have first a little background of your life before ROSIE and the feature film. You were both actress before, so I am curious how this idea to transform yourself as director and producer of film has come up and how it has evolved in the last years.
I started out as an actor, and I've been doing acting for a while, and in the early days I was just tired of auditioning for stereotypical roles that didn't represent me as an Indigenous woman. So I thought, you know what, to heck with that, I'm gonna tell my own stories. If I want change, then I have to be part of that change. And one way to do that is to just write my own stories, direct my own stories. So I started doing that. I have 9 shorts, and they've been all over the world at Sundance, Imaginative, and the latest one I did is before ROSIE the short was Asani, and we won the UNICEF's Best Children's Film in
the Stuttgart Film Festival. And what was really special about it is that it was children, grade 4 students who voted.
Yeah, and we had a Skype with them for an hour and with the classroom, and they were able to ask us questions, and they wrote a presentation to us, and they also made the trophy that they sent. It was, I think, one of the most beautiful trophies because they selected it, like little 9 and 10-year-olds, not little, but 9 and 10-year-olds selected it, and yeah, so that was really meaningful. I still act. I love acting. I won't ever stop acting, so I'm for hire! Yeah, so ROSIE the short I wrote in 2017 at Melanie's mom's house in La Salle. Her dad had created this office in a closet, like literally a closet. So you turn on the light switch, and then the music comes on, and he built like a little shelf in there. So I told Melanie, I said, I'm gonna go lock myself in there, and I'm coming out with a short script. So I did, and when I was in there, her dad had passed, and you know, it's like talking to spirit and stuff, and I was saying, can you come on, because I wrote Fred for Melanie, and so I was in there and I was like typing away, and I said, come on Kenny, like help me, you know, write a story so your daughter can shine. And I finished ROSIE the short. We shot it in 2018. We premiered it at the Imaginative Film Festival, and then the Imaginative Film Festival and the Harold Greenberg Fund selected ROSIE to be developed into a feature film, which I did over the period of 2019. Be able to tell more of the backstory for ROSIE, whose mom was part of the 60s scoop, and I wanted to be able to tell the effects and the repercussions of that, and what those effects are on the children that are taken away, but not only that, but also the families that are left behind. And in ROSIE's case, she's thrown into an environment that's completely alien to her, and a lot of children that are taken away even today that's what happens, and I wanted to show what can happen. And yeah, we can talk more about that, but I'll let Melanie talk more.
Well, you are a producer out of the closet, if I understood well.
Yeah. Ben moi, j'ai grandi ici à Montréal avec une mère francophone, un père anglophone. Puis depuis le secondaire, je voulais être comédienne. Alors, quand je suis allée au cégep, je suis allée en anglais. Je suis allée à Dawson College, Dome Theatre. J'ai fait ma formation en théâtre. Puis c'est ça. Après ça, j'ai déménagé. J'ai quitté Montréal pour Vancouver. Puis j'ai habité longtemps à Vancouver puis à Toronto. Puis en fait, je suis devenue une productrice peut-être par accident parce que je venais de survivre une rupture. Puis je suis retournée à Vancouver juste visiter des amis. Puis je savais plus quoi faire. J'étais seule, j'étais plus dans une relation. J'avais quitté ma job. J'avais pas d'appart. Puis je pensais juste retourner à Vancouver, visiter pendant quelques semaines, juste voir mes amis, tu sais, être entourée d'amour et de soutien. Puis ça c'est en 2007. Non, ça c'est la fin de 2006. Puis je lisais le journal, puis j'ai vu qu'il y avait une école là-bas qui avait commencé un nouveau programme qui s'appelait Film Arts, puis il y avait des scénaristes, des metteurs en scène et des acteurs-actrices, et que tout le monde allait apprendre aussi à produire. Alors je suis retournée, j'ai décidé, juste comme ça, après avoir lu le journal, je vais aller faire une audition, puis on dit, ouais, vous êtes exactement le type de personne qu'on cherche, qui a comme déjà beaucoup d'expérience, mais tu veux une formation spécifiquement en film télé, et tu veux apprendre à produire. Et j'ai décidé que, je ne sais pas certaine si ça me tentait, je savais que ça serait quelque chose, que je serais une bonne productrice, parce que je suis très organisée, j'avais travaillé beaucoup dans des bureaux, des librairies, des bibliothèques. Je suis une actrice qui a jamais travaillé comme serveuse, alors c'est quand même bizarre. Et après ça, c'est ça, j'ai fait le programme, puis je me suis dit, en tant que femme, c'est comme un peu semblable à Gail, je me suis dit, en tant que femme, en tant que minorité, je voulais avoir plus de contrôle. Puis je voulais apprendre à produire pour peut-être un jour pouvoir raconter des histoires qui me tiennent au cœur, puis qui pourraient créer un changement dans le monde, du changement positif.
But your character as Frédéric maybe is the one who has less humor, and she is helped in that sense by the queer couple, Flo and Mo, that are always de-dramatizing the dramas of their life by laughing about it.
So interesting. I never thought about it. I think you're correct. I'll speak in English in case you want to jump in as the writer, but yeah, Fred, I guess that's a really beautiful observation, actually. Yeah, she's quite serious. She's quite angry. And I actually say to people who've asked what's your favorite part of playing her, that actually her anger is one of the things I actually love. I think often as humans, and especially as women, we're not encouraged to share our anger or feel like we can express it. You know, and anger is just as healthy an emotion and a valid emotion as every other emotion. There may be better ways and less better ways to express it and how to deal with it. But what I love about Fred and what's liberating as an actor is to just, no holds barred, just give people crap. And I think she has a lot of valid reasons to be angry as well. And I think those moments are really important. But you're right that she's quite serious, and I never really thought about it. And that probably, you know, in this chosen family, before Rosie, I feel like Flo, Mo, and Fred are already very much a chosen family. You know, they all have their broken stories and their background, and they have found each other, and they definitely uplift each other, and they're loyal. And but you're making me realize something really amazing and lovely, that they're also bringing that levity that maybe if Fred didn't have them, she would get a little bit too stuck in a dark place.
They have their own biography behind the storyline, and what I was surprised is that we know, looking at the film, we know really little about the foster family of Fred and her sister, by the situation being in the same, the Rosie mother, who is also adopted by the same family than Fred, and we have very few clues about what was their life in that family before, and I was wondering why.
Yeah, so I did that on purpose. Fred at one point says the family was a narcissistic family, and she left when she was 16, the first chance that she got. So I think that says a lot about the foster family. And that's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to give them more weight in the story because I wanted it to be about the main characters and not about the foster family, because it's about the characters and the way they triumph in the world and the way they are resilient, and that's what I wanted to show. And also the power of chosen family, because even though Fred left when she was 16, she's able to you know, have this compassion and such a beautiful heart, and she's found these beautiful people around her, Flo and Mo, and now little Rosie, and you know, that's her contained family. So that's what I wanted to focus on.
What's interesting as an actor is, of course, I created a whole story in my mind about all of it, and Gail and I have never even talked about it, and we could at any point. But so I have that whole world. What you know, I can answer it in my mind, and it's not important to share. But as an actor, it was important for me. It's just part of the preparation work I do. Like I know exactly what that house was like, and what those people were like, and when I left, and when I came back, and when I left for good. And for me, the character of Julie is so present in my being. It probably sounds odd, but you know, this mother of Rosie that we never see is such a presence to me. Sometimes I could almost cry thinking about her. I have so much love for her and this imaginary person in my mind. And I've written songs about her. And yeah, I know everything about what happened to us there, but that's just for me to create because I have some funny ideas as an actor that even if the audience doesn't know it, that somehow it's in my eyes, it's in the being, it's I don't know, it's coming through somehow in an unconscious way. I don't know.
Well, that's what the beauty of acting is you do create a story, a whole entire world, and you know, and that's how you have a rounded human being on screen. And Melanie also, she wrote one of the songs in the film, and it was for Julie, Rosie's mom. When I was writing it, and we had to postpone shooting in 2020. We were ready to go into production, and COVID shut everything down. So during that year, before we started up again in 2021, Melanie was in the bedroom writing songs, and yeah, she wrote quite a few songs, and it is emotional because as a screenwriter, when I'm writing, I actually cry when the characters are crying. You know, it's because it's part of our heart going on the page. So when you see Rosie the film, like that's my whole heart on the screen, you know. And I talk about you know, the characters like they're real, because they are real to me. Yeah. And I'm sure, like Melanie says, when she was talking and creating this life with her foster family as Frederic and Julie, it's real in Melanie's mind because it has to be real in order to present it as real on screen.
Do you have, after finishing your first feature film, do you have a message from them?
Don't ever give up. It's taken me 20 years from when I started as actor and writer-director to get to this point where I make my first feature film, and it's not for lack of trying. There's, you know, doors have been closed, there's been gatekeepers, and there was one point where I almost gave up filmmaking, and I realized I was thinking to myself, what's the point of continuing on as a storyteller, as a screenwriter, when no one actually reads your script, and especially people that are supposed to be funders, you know? And I thought, if, as a screenwriter, story is everything, and that's not what is being judged when you get funding, and what's the point of telling stories? So I almost quit, and then after a couple of years I thought, you know what, I'm not going to let anybody win, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do. And so that's when I went into my little closet and wrote the short, you know. So it's my advice is never give up, always trust your gut, And if people try to get you to change your story, change it only if you want to. Change it if that's what is true to your characters and to your story. Otherwise, don't, because it won't resonate as real. And I say that because somebody tried to get me to change Rosie and to make it really dark, where Flo and Mo are beaten up and gay bashed. And so I tried to write that, and it went down a dark, dark path, and it was so not the story I wanted to tell. You know, it's not the story that represented who I was. So I took that aside and I threw it away, and I went back to my truth. And what you see as the final product is my truth. So never give up.
I'm incredibly proud of the film that we made. For me, what's really the most important is that art also is creating positive change in the world. I'm very much interested in art/activism. Sounds like such a big word to some people, but yeah, I feel like I want to put stories out that create positive change, and at the same time, I think that this industry is very problematic and sort of needs an overhaul. So that's a hard question for me, and I'm trying to think, what would I say? Except run away! No, I'm just kidding. As a young woman or filmmaker out there, a queer filmmaker, I think if you can, surround yourself with the right people. You know, and I know you don't always have a choice, but surround yourself with good people who have that same vision as you and who are going to make your life less difficult or not difficult at all instead of more difficult. Yeah, as much as you can, just trying to stay true to yourself, I guess, and to stand in your power.
I guess if you have a story, if you have a screenplay, and you don't know how to get it made, if you want to direct it, find a producer that you trust and share your story with them. Maybe magic will happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.